In the previous lesson, we discussed the different effects of Earth's motion. Rotation is the cause of day and night, and revolution is the movement of Earth around the Sun. When its revolution is through, a year is experienced. You also know that Earth's axis of rotation is tilted to about 23.5 degrees. This is one of the primary causes of seasons on Earth. How do we define seasons? At the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the cause of seasons. A season is a quarter of the year with unique weather pattern characteristics. The amount of sunlight a hemisphere receives during a certain period of the year determines the season. The transitions of each season is called equinoxes and solstices. These transitions can be recognized by the length of daytime, the altitude of the sun at noon, and the length of the shadow of a vertical object. These vary depending on the orientation of Earth's axis as it orbits around the Sun. When Earth is farthest from the Sun in its orbit twice a year, the North Pole points either directly at or away from the Sun. The hemisphere nearer the Sun experiences longer days and shorter nights. During this time, the Sun reaches its highest noon altitude and starts reversing its movement towards lower altitudes. This event is known as the solstice. The word solstice comes from a Latin word meaning sun stands still. Solstice is the event on which the unequal duration between day and night is greatest. Summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. The noon altitude is highest when the North Pole points directly towards the Sun. It happens every June 21st or 22nd. This is called the summer solstice. The Sun is at its highest altitude and longest path during this day. As such, summer is marked by longer days and shorter nights. The shadows cast by vertical objects are also at their shortest since the Sun is almost directly overhead. Summer is also the hottest time of the year since it is the period when Earth's surface receives the greatest insolation. It is experienced from June to September. During summer, areas near the North Pole receives constant sunlight, and these areas do not experience nighttime until the end of summer. When the North Pole points away from the Sun, the noon altitude is lowest in the northern hemisphere. It happens during December 22nd or 23rd. The beginning of this season is called the winter solstice. The Sun is at its lowest altitude and shortest path during this day. As such, winter is marked by the shorter days and longer nights. Shadows of vertical objects are longest during this time. Therefore, Earth's surface receives the least insolation throughout the year. This is commonly manifested as cold weather and snowfalls. Areas near North Pole receives no sunlight at all and do not experience daytime until winter ends. In general, the position of the Sun in the sky varies between summer and winter solstice and depends on one's position in Earth. In the Philippines, the solstices are experienced. The only manifestation, although subtle, is the length of day and night. During summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, the days are longer and the nights are shorter in the Philippines. The same effect also happens during winter solstice. Equinoxes. Halfway towards reaching the farthest point in its orbit, Earth comes closest to the Sun. During this time, Earth's axis is at right angles with the connecting line between Earth and the Sun. Because of this configuration, Earth experiences equal lengths of day and night. These periods are called equinoxes. The word equinox comes from a Latin word meaning equal nights. Equinox stand for the day on which the duration of day and night is equal. Similar to solstices, there are also two equinoxes. The noon altitude of the sun during the equinox is midway between the altitudes of summer and winter. Shadows cast by vertical objects is also midway the length cast when it's summer and winter. The spring equinox marks the beginning of spring. It is also called as a vernal equinox. It happens on May 21st. It is the season after winter, which lasts from March to June. Plants start to spring back to life, aided by the mild temperature and the abundance of meltwater from winter ice. Some animals come out from hibernation. Most animals use this time to breed. The fall equinox marks the beginning of spring. It is also called as the autumnal equinox. It occurs on September 23rd. It is the start of autumn which lasts until December. The leaves of non-evergreen plants turn red and orange. Then, they eventually fall during this season as the plants are ready for the winter. The meteorological and ecological effects of equinoxes are not felt in the Philippines. Only the equal length of day and night are observed. If you like more of this content, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Thank you, and always remember that you are all awesome.